All right, I think we've got about 5 people, so we should probably just go ahead and get started. Anybody, you know, of course, anybody who's watching this who didn't catch the video whenever it was live, you can always catch the replay. And if you have any questions, you can always put them in the comments, and I'll definitely get back to you later with any questions about what you have, about my routine and how it's going, or, you know, about any of the products that are in there. Just to remind everybody, I'm Cindi, 33, combo skin. I've got a few age spots here and there. I've got dry cheeks. And tonight I am doing my routine. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my night routine and what I go through, which mine's still, it's kind of extensive still, but I get really, really dry at night, especially whenever the AC starts in the summertime. My skin doesn't deal with the air conditioning very well. I think my skin like gets confused whenever the you know, it's hot outside and then I come back inside and it's really cold and the air is really dry. So I definitely need moisture, especially while I'm sleeping, whenever, you know, because we have central air in our house, so it gets really dry in here as soon as it hits like 75 outside when we start running the air. So anyway, so I layer it on. So I decided I'm gonna try and show you guys my routine tonight. I have never done this for you guys before, but I thought it would be fun, you know, besides just showing you the products. So yeah, Darcy, my skin has no freaking idea what to do. It's especially with the air conditioning, it's like, it suffers. My whole body suffers from air conditioning. I actually really don't like AC. I prefer not to turn it on, but as I've gotten older and become more like hormonal, I can't just go without AC like I used to when I was younger and open the windows, or I just wake up sweating and miserable, and so I have to turn it on whether I like it or not, and my skin dries out. So in defense of that, I have to put on lots of layers while I sleep so that I still wake up with happy skin, and thanks to Sabbatical Beauty, I'm able to do that now. So I went ahead and double cleansed before we started, obviously, because that part always takes me forever. I always start with, hi Anne. I always start with an oil cleanser, like VCCO, and I usually massage that in for, it just depends on how congested my skin is that day, which honestly for me from day to day is always extremely unpredictable. It depends on how close I am to my cycle. It depends on so many different factors, how hot or humid it was out that day, how dry it was, what products I used that day. But yeah, so if I'm super congested, I might massage it in for as much as 20 minutes. So, and that's a tip for you guys too, something that I learned when I started using Sabbatical Beauty. I'd been using an oil cleanser for a while before I even found Sabbatical Beauty. I already knew about oil cleansers, but I wasn't using it right. And what I mean is I was massaging it in for like a minute, and then I would put the hot washcloth over my face to take it all off, but I wasn't getting any like junk out of my face, and it's because I didn't know you're supposed to keep massaging, you know, for, you know, 2, 3, 5, 6 minutes. And it was actually when I met the group and they were telling everybody how to use the oil cleanser, and I was like, huh, I'm gonna try that with my oil cleanser tonight. And that's actually when my face started to transform. So you guys, oil cleanser. So that's always my first cleanse in the evenings, just in the evenings. I don't do the oil cleanser in the morning. And then after that, tonight actually I did detox. So I did a mask. I always try to fit a mask in if I can. Normally something moisturizing on like a regular day. You know, and then if I'm like real congested, then I'll do something better for breakouts and stuff like Bethany or Saki Kasu. But tonight I did detox, which is in the summer box. It feels so lovely on your skin. I love it so much. And then the spatula they gave us with the box to put it on, just, it helps so much. So I did oil cleanser, then I did Detox Mask, and then I followed up with my bamboo foaming cleanser, which is also in the summer box. And we've talked about this. It smells like a tropical rainstorm. It's like the most wonderful smelling stuff in the world, and gives up like a nice foam, gets all the junk off that you were massaging out whenever you were using oil cleanser. So that's my double cleanse. And then after I do my double cleanse, I use Maple Essence Toner as my like toner essence step, like to kind of help everything soak in. So I'm going to put a few drops of that in my hand. I always have a hard time not getting this to spill, so get that all over my hands and press it in. And then I try to get it on my neck a little bit too, because I do try to go down to the décolletage, because I didn't take very good care of that area in my 20s. So I'm trying to backtrack and do a better job now. So that is my first step for the serums. And then after that, I use Piper's Peat. This was, I believe, an item in the winter box. Piper's Peat is really good for clearing your pores. It's really good for shrinking your pores, good for congestion, and also good for aging. And it's a really, really thin serum, and I use 3 drops of this one, and I put that on my fingers, and then I rub them in. And what I do with my Piper's Peat is I focus it on the areas where my pores are large, which is in my T-zone. And then on my temples, I always get terrible, terrible breakouts, guys. So I put it on my temples, and then I use it on my jawline where I get my really, really bad hormonal breakouts. This is where I get them the worst. And then back to my ears. And then I have milia on my chin, so whatever is left goes down there. So that's my first serum. And then I follow that up with Dorian Gray, which this was from the spring box. This one is good for anti-aging. It also makes your skin really, really, really soft, guys. It's got so many good properties besides just the anti-aging. It is the most lovely feeling serum, probably of all of them to me. And so I use 3 drops of that one, rub it in, and then I use it around my eyes where these wrinkles are, and on the 11s between my eyes. And then I always do, like, I try to get, you know, where I have some spots and scars too. And then on my forehead, I kind of pat it in where those lines are forming, the labial lines right here. And then I use what's left over on the lines on my neck. So that is the next step. So that was Dorian Gray. After that one, I use just a couple drops. Hi, Dana. A couple drops of the Marine Serum, which is one of the absolute core products of Sabbatical Beauty. Marine is fantastic, guys. It's got all different types of algae in it. And I use it particularly on my cheeks and on the top of my nose and above my eyebrows, because that's where I get dry. And then if I have any left over, I kind of blend it into the rest of my face until it's gone from my fingers, because it's good for all kinds of stuff, but it's particularly good for moisture. And it really, really helps keep my cheeks from getting too dry. So I only use 2 drops of Marine. And then my last serum that I use at night right now is Magic Dragon. And I use this morning and evening under my eyes for dark circles. And I'm telling you guys, when I started, hi Ramia, when I started using Magic Dragon under my eyes for dark circles, they started to get so much better, and I'm so glad. And actually, I believe it was Darcy, after I purchased Magic Dragon, that told me that I could use it for my breakout areas, and I didn't even know that when I purchased it. So after she told me that, I started blending what I had left after I put it on under my eyes to any areas that I break out, and it really helped. So Magic Dragon is not just good for dark under eye circles. I know we talk about it for that a lot, but it's really, really great also for helping your breakouts, and it's healing as well. So Hi, Dale. Oh, your live was so good tonight. I'm glad you're here. And then after, so that was 4 serums that I used. And then after that, I put on Magic Dragon or RWPS or Bright Eyes for dark circles. Actually, Ramia, I use all 3. But I only use Bright Eyes in the morning. And actually, that's the next thing I'm going to use right now is a red Wine Pressed Serum, which is also in the summer box. You guys, this is one of my favorite products, and if you know me, know this is one of my favorite products. It was one of the first things I ever purchased. Purchased it also, oddly enough, just like Magic Dragon for dark under eye circles, but it's not just good for that. So I always start with my dark circles and just kind of put it all around, and then warm it up between my fingers real good for the rest of my face. And then I press it in all over until it's all gone. And it really doesn't take much, guys. It doesn't take much of this at all. If there's anything I've learned about RWPS, it is that a little goes a long way, and when you try to use too much, it's going to pill on you. And then you're going to get frustrated with it, and then you're not going to want to use it. And it's just because you're using it wrong. It's just because you're using too much. You only need a little bit, and just a little bit of this stuff is going to help clear any redness you have. It's going to help calm your complexion down. It's going to help your pores. It's going to help with moisture. It's an all-around great multitasking product. It really is. I love RWPS. So I put that on every night. And oh, it's okay. You misspelled my name. People misspell my name. Have misspelled my name my whole life, Dale. It's I'm very, very used to it by now, and I'm like way past, like I stopped being insulted by that like 10 years ago, so you're fine. And really, it's the same name. It is. It's just a different spelling. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. It all came from Cynthia anyway, so it's, yeah. So the next one that I use is Glow, which actually I didn't show you guys. I forgot. And I use this just in the evenings as well. And I use this on any of the dark spots I have, which right here on my eye. I had 2 really, really dark ones, big dark ones that showed up when I was pregnant. And the reason why they did that is because nobody told me. And it's so funny because I read so many stinking books when I was pregnant on like how to do all the right stuff for your body when you're pregnant, but I had no idea that your skin gets like incredibly more photosensitive when you're pregnant, and I just got spots all over my face while I was pregnant that I'm stuck with now. So I'm trying to get rid of those with Glow. So that's what I'm using it for. Yeah, Dale, I had to get over the whole name misspelling thing a long time ago because it is spelled weird. But I like that because I do have kind of a typical name, so at least the fact that it's spelled differently makes it a little bit less than typical, which makes me happy. That's why I named my daughter Kaylin, because I wanted her name to be different. I didn't want her to run into people who have the same name as her like every other day like I do. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to catch spelling. So now I'm putting Glow. I kind of put it on the scars that I have. I have a couple like chicken pox scars on my face that I've had since I was, I don't know, 8, I guess. So I rub it into those until it's gone. And then I have these scars under my nose from acne from when I was younger that I picked because I didn't know better. And it scarred really bad. So that's all. I guess technically those were 2 serums too, because those are pressed serums. Red Wine and Glow. Those were my steps after those. And my next step is anti-aging eye gel oil at night. And I know somebody asked about Bright Eyes. I do use Bright Eyes. I only use it in the morning. Just to try and cut down on the routine. That way I'm getting all the ingredients, but I'm not having to have as many steps. And then at night, I focus on wrinkles around my eyes with AAAGO instead. Carol, hi! Alright, so AAAGO all the way around my eye area. And this one doesn't irritate me at all, which is really nice because my eyes are really, really sensitive, guys. So, and then I do it up on my eyebrows because it is supposed to help with eyebrow growth. And I have hypothyroidism, and I lost a good bit of my eyebrows on the outer edge when my thyroid got really bad before I found out what was going on with me. So I kind of trying to help those grow back. So we'll see. And then I use whatever's left on my fingers on my lips. And that makes them nice and soft while I sleep. So after AAGO is my beauty oil. And I use Blush Beauty Oil. Ooh, I love this stuff. It's so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Hypothyroidism, not hyper. I had an underactive thyroid. I have to take, I do take natural thyroid supplementation, but it is hormones, and I take like the maximum dose every morning. I was actually very, 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 very exhausted every day. I had such awful fatigue that I could hardly get out of bed in the morning. It was awful. But ever since I started taking the medication and the iodine, I no longer have well, I don't have the symptoms of hypothyroidism. So, and I'm applying Blush Beauty Oil right now, guys. I use 3 drops on top of RWPS and Glow. But yeah, once I started taking the medication for the hyperthyroidism, all my energy started to come back, and I started to feel better, and I could get out of bed, and, you know, I stopped having mood swings, and it's just been like the most wonderful transformation for me this year. I can't even tell you how exciting it was just to figure out what was going on with me. So, hi Shidra and Rochelle. Hi guys. Most do. I have hyper. Yeah, you guys, I would have thought that I would have had hyperthyroidism because I've always had a problem gaining weight. And I always thought hyper meant trouble with gaining weight and hypo meant trouble with losing, but apparently one doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the other, because I was really surprised when I found out, and I guess that's a common misconception. And having trouble gaining weight or you know, being thin doesn't necessarily mean that hypothyroidism isn't an issue for you. So I don't know, I'm just really glad that I found a doctor that understood that and didn't overlook it. Because of my issue with gaining weight. Because if he had, then I never would have figured out what was wrong with me. So after Blush Beauty Oil, I use After Sun as my moisturizer. I love to seal everything in. I really feel like the moisturizer helps just kind of set all of the serums into your face for the evening, which is nice. And gives me that last little bit of moisture that I need all over. And, guys, it's kind of hard to put a moisturizer over red wine pressed serum. But if you use a few drops of a beauty oil, which is why I use blush, between the two, and like give it a few seconds to soak in, and then put a moisturizer on top of that, I don't have any trouble, with it at all. And I don't know if you guys noticed, I pat in RWPS. I don't smooth it on. I used to try to smooth it on, and every time I did, it would just roll up into a mess, and it was so irritating. And I was like, I have to figure out how to use this better. And then I just decided to start trying to apply it as a serum instead of as a moisturizer. And once I started doing that, haven't had any trouble since. So that has worked really, really well for me. Warming it up between my fingers and then patting it in. So this is kind of funny. I don't have spatulas to put into my like little sample products, and so I have a nail file with a plastic end on it. So I use this and sanitize between uses instead, just until I go get some spatulas, so that I have something sanitary to dip into my products. Which actually, I don't think I did a good job with that with everything tonight, but I usually try to keep the bacteria out of everything. And my last step for my evening routine is the Donkey Milk Gel Sleeping Pack, which was also in the spring box. And I just a little bit, guys. It doesn't take much of this stuff. If you've never used it before, or if you're trying to learn how to use it, or, you know, anything. It's just the tiniest little bit of the sleeping pack. And then what I do with the sleeping pack, actually I put it on very similar to the way I put on After Sun. I put it on this finger, and then I rub all 4 fingers together and get it all over them. Now this is going to dry really fast, so I have to do this quickly. And then I smooth it on really quick all over, and then I make sure I get my jawline where my breakouts are, because it really helps with that. And then just kind of make sure I patted it in really well around the edges, because it dries so fast. And then anything I have left over, I just rub into my hands and up to my elbows, because my arms get really dry. And that is it. That is my evening routine as of right now. I've been kind of adjusting it as time has gone on for summertime, and that is what's working really well for me right now. So yes, I love Donkey Milk Gel, the sleeping pack. I was having so much trouble before I started using the sleeping pack, guys. If you don't use the sleeping pack, just because I would put all the layers on my skin, and then after I put all the layers on, I would just lay on my pillow and I'd just be like a grease ball on my pillow. It was awful. And then I found out about these and what they do for you, and how it creates this nice like film to seal everything in, and I don't get, nothing comes off on my pillow, and I feel protected all night, and it's perfect. So if you guys like to pack it all on at night like I do, because you need that moisture while you sleep, you have to have one of these. You know, there are a few different kinds. The Donkey Milk Gel is one in particular. It's really good for acne prone skin, and it just kind of heals and seals while you sleep, and it's fantastic. I love it so much. So let's see. Do you guys have any questions for me? I don't think I missed. I'm pretty sure I caught everything as it was coming up. Does anybody have any additional questions about the routine or anything? That this was my evening routine, in case anybody didn't catch that. And just to add to everything, since I started using the summer box and implementing these products in, my skin has become so much more even. Like all of the roughness on my cheeks has been really calming down, because this used to be like mountains on my cheeks, and it was I just didn't enjoy looking at it very much, honestly. And it's starting to smooth out, especially from the toner, which I use in the morning. And I just love everything in the box. Everything is helping calm me down. It's helping inflammation, it's helping redness, it's helping acne. I haven't broken out on my temples since I started using the box, guys. It's a really big deal. I used to have to massage the oil cleanser for so long to try and get that congestion out, which is almost completely gone now, which is really, really exciting. And the milia on either side of my nose, guys, here, right here, in these creases, for as long as I can remember, for years now, I have always had milia right here. And since I started using the summer box, I can't find it. I'm pretty sure that the milia is completely gone at this point. So that's really, really exciting. That's one of the biggest improvements I've had. Natalie said, I think I asked how much glow you use. It was a really, really, really tiny amount, like as little of an amount as you can get out at a time, because it is kind of like sticky. So probably, I'm trying to think of like an amount to compare it to. Like maybe like a third of a pea size is all it takes, and that was enough to put it, and I have several spots that I use it on, and then I just kind of put it on the back of my hand and smooth it onto the areas that I need to focus on. And yeah, the strawberry toner, Natalie, that's right, it does, it's helping even out my skin tone so much. It's also helping me with moisture, which really surprised me too. My cheeks haven't been as dry since I started using the summer box, which was a real issue before I started it. Do I use Dorian Gray serum every day? I use it every day, every other day, and only in the evenings. So about, yeah, but usually only 2 or 3 drops. If you have a go-to, if you overdid skincare, acid toner, too much retinol, something to calm. Do you have a go-to if you overdid skincare? Too much, something to... Rochelle, can you rephrase the question for me? I want to answer that well. And I don't think I'm getting... Are you like asking what I would use if my skin was like irritated? Is that what you mean? If your skin is not happy. If my skin isn't happy, one of the things that I do, I'd probably use coconut morning and evening if my skin was upset. And also, I mean, you guys know I use RWPS in the morning and the evening. And the Holy Lotus mask really, really helps calm my skin down. Oh, and the cucumber and aloe mist too, guys. Anytime I feel like a lot is going on with my skin, I would use this stuff constantly if I had a full size of it already, but I'm trying to conserve it. That's why I'm not using it in the evenings right now. I want to, but I'm trying to conserve it. But it's just like when you spray it on, it soaks in so fast and it's so soothing. And honestly, I think this probably is going to be just fantastic for that. Like if you come home and your face is sunburnt, or you know, you got too much sun and you're irritated, it's just going to feel so nice to have that to cool your skin down and cool down that inflammation, because aloe is really, really good for inflammation. And then after sun too. So yeah, I think, Rochelle, if I needed to like just cut everything out, like if I was like super irritated, I'd probably just use cucumber and aloe mist, coconut, and either skip to red wine pressed serum or after sun. I'd probably just use those three and that's it until it felt better. I don't really have that issue. My skin doesn't usually get too upset. It's pretty tolerant, more than most people's. But if I had to, I think that's what I would do. And then Hydra, yeah. If I'm feeling like super dry, like if I feel like I'm doing too much trying to calm the oil down on my skin, I do add Hydra in the morning and the evening as well. That's another one that I didn't use tonight, but that depending on the morning, if I feel like it's going to be a dry day, I add a couple drops of Hydra in, but that always kind of brings me back to a nice balanced, well moisturized face. Hydra After Sun and Cucumber Mist and the new Bamboo Cleanser. I think the whole summer box, yeah, pretty much is just real nice and calming, definitely. So, do you guys have any other questions for me? Anything else you want to know about my routine before I go tonight? Anything you want to know? That's what I'm here for. I hope everybody enjoyed the party tonight. Maybe not the toner. Well, honestly, Natalie, the toner, maybe it feels a little strong at first, but it makes everything else work so much better. So yeah, maybe not for calming, but if you're like, once you've used it, it helps everything else to calm you down even more, if that makes sense. So yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for coming. And again, like I'd said before, even if you're not catching the live, if you're catching the replay, that's fine. Leave comments, ask me questions. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know about my routine or how it's going. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then if you could please like and subscribe to our channel. We got all kinds of exciting stuff coming up for you guys. All kinds of new information about the summer box and the products from Sabbatical Beauty. So anyway, thank you for joining me and have a good night.